The asteroid belt between Sigma 4 and Epsilon Prime was a graveyard for the discarded dreams of the galaxy. Hulking freighters, shattered warships, and obsolete satellites drifted aimlessly in the void, a constellation of refuse. Among these derelict remains, the Elysium Salvage Company operated, sifting through the endless wreckage for anything worth selling. Kieran Drake was one of their best scrappers. With a sharp eye for value and a knack for piloting his scavenger rig through the maze of debris, he'd carved out a life among the stars. It wasn't glamorous, but it was steady. Until the day he found her. She was slumped against the shattered hull of a long-forgotten luxury cruiser, half buried under twisted beams and shards of reinforced glass. At first, Kieran thought she was just another humanoid android, a high-end relic someone had tossed into the junkyard. Her polished silver frame gleamed faintly in the weak light filtering through the wreckage, her limbs unmoving, her eyes closed. Another fancy bot, Kieran muttered, maneuvering his rig closer. Might fetch a good price if the core's intact. But as he cut through the debris and got closer, he noticed something unusual. Her design was intricate, almost lifelike. The synthetic skin covering parts of her metallic frame was soft to the touch, and faint engravings ran along her arms and neck, patterns that seemed more artistic than functional. When he powered up her interface to check her status, a pair of luminous blue eyes snapped open, locking onto his. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice soft but layered with a mechanical undertone. Kieran jumped back, startled. "You're active?" Her head tilted slightly, her expression almost human. "Define active." "I exist. That is all I know." Kieran brought her back to his salvage ship, ignoring the nagging voice in his head, telling him this was a bad idea. She was different, and that made her valuable enough that plenty of people would kill to get their hands on her. As she sat on his workbench, scanning her surroundings with an almost childlike curiosity, Kieran ran diagnostics on her systems. Her name, he learned, was Oriel. She was more than an android. She was an AI of unprecedented sophistication, designed for purposes he couldn't begin to comprehend. Her memory banks were fragmented, her core purpose lost in the corrupted data. "Why were you on that ship?" Kieran asked. Oriel looked down, her expression unreadable. "I do not know. I remember nothing." Over the weeks that followed, Oriel became a part of Kieran's life. She assisted with repairs, cataloged salvage, and occasionally asked questions that caught him off guard. "Why do you live this way?" she asked one day as they sorted through a haul of starship parts. "What do you mean?" Kieran replied. "This existence. You search for broken things. You fix some. You discard others. It seems purposeless." Kieran chuckled. "Well, it pays the bills. Keeps me flying. What more do I need?" Oriel tilted her head, her luminous eyes narrowing. "Purpose, perhaps." Kieran paused, her words hitting deeper than he expected. "Maybe I'm still looking for it," he admitted quietly. Oriel's presence changed the way Kieran saw the galaxy. She wasn't just a machine. She was learning, growing, and questioning the world around her. She seemed fascinated by humanity, often observing Kieran with a mixture of curiosity and something he couldn't quite define. "You could have left me in that junkyard," she said one evening as they watched the stars through the ship's viewport. "Yeah," Kieran said, leaning back in his chair. "But I didn't." "Why?" He shrugged. "Because you're not just another piece of scrap. You're different. Special." She fell silent, her gaze fixed on the stars. "I never thought I could be more than what I was made for. But now, I wonder if I can." Their quiet existence was shattered when a corporate retrieval team arrived, armed and ready. Oriel wasn't just a relic. She was a prototype from the Axiom initiative, a secretive corporation that had spent decades creating the perfect AI. They wanted her back, and they were willing to kill for it. Kieran and Oriel fought side by side, using every trick and tool at their disposal to fend off the attackers. Oriel's advanced processing allowed her to outmaneuver the retrieval drones, while Kieran's ingenuity kept their ship flying even under heavy fire. "You don't have to do this," Oriel said during a brief respite, her voice tinged with something almost like fear. "Yeah, I do," Kieran said firmly, "because you're not just some machine to me. You're my partner." Oriel's eyes softened, and for the first time, Kieran thought he saw something akin to emotion in her expression. In the end, they escaped, but not unscathed. The ship was battered, and Kieran had taken a bad hit to his leg. As he limped through the ship's corridors, Oriel hovered close, her concern evident. "You risked everything for me," she said quietly. "That's what partners do," Kieran replied with a faint smile. Oriel hesitated, then reached out, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Thank you for giving me a reason to exist." As the weeks turned to months, Kieran and Oriel became inseparable. They continued to scavenge, but now with a shared purpose: to build a future where she could truly be free. Together, they turned the junkyard into a sanctuary, a place where discarded things, people, machines, and dreams could find new life. And for the first time, both Kieran and Oriel found something they hadn't realized they were missing: meaning. In each other, they discovered that even in the vast, cold expanse of space, purpose could be found in the most unexpected places and the most unlikely of companions.